You finish a task you've been working on for days, maybe weeks. For a moment, there's relief, a small breath out, a sense that something is finally complete. But the feeling doesn't last. Within minutes, sometimes seconds, your mind moves on to the next thing, the next project, the next improvement, the next problem that needs solving. It's subtle, but if you watch closely, you'll notice something strange. You rarely allow yourself to fully enjoy what you've accomplished. Instead, you feel a quiet pull forward, almost like an invisible force saying, keep going, keep producing, keep proving. At first, this drive looks like ambition. It looks like discipline. It looks like the trait that successful people are supposed to have. But after a while, the pattern becomes exhausting. You wake up already thinking about what you should be doing. You struggle to relax without feeling slightly guilty. Even when things are going well, there's a sense that you're behind. And eventually, a difficult question appears. Why does achievement feel less like satisfaction and more like hunger? In the previous video, we explored why modern success culture quietly creates anxiety. But anxiety isn't the whole story. There's another force at work inside the brain, one that makes the pursuit of achievement feel almost compulsive. A force that rewards the chase far more than the arrival. And once you understand how this mechanism works, a lot of modern life suddenly makes sense. Because the truth is this. For many people, success isn't just a goal anymore. It's an addiction. Ready to dive deep? Let's begin. The dopamine trap. Inside your brain, there's a chemical that plays a central role in motivation. Dopamine. Most people think dopamine is the pleasure molecule. But that's not quite accurate. Dopamine isn't really about pleasure. It's about anticipation. When your brain predicts that something rewarding might happen, recognition, progress, approval, financial gain, it releases dopamine. That signal pushes you forward, energizing your attention and effort. In other words, dopamine doesn't reward the result. It rewards the pursuit. This system is incredibly useful. It's the reason humans build, learn, explore, and innovate. But modern environments have learned how to exploit it. Every notification, every metric, every milestone triggers the same reward circuitry. Progress bars, productivity apps, performance targets, social validation, all of them keep the brain chasing the next small hit of progress. The problem is that the brain quickly adapts. Once a goal is achieved, dopamine levels drop. The feeling of reward fades. To recreate that sense of drive, the brain needs a new target. A slightly bigger goal. A slightly higher number. A slightly faster timeline. Over time, this creates a cycle that feels eerily familiar to addiction. Anticipation, effort, reward, withdrawal, repeat. You chase the feeling again and again. But the more you chase it, the less satisfying each achievement becomes. Which is why many people reach levels of success they once dreamed about and still feel restless. Not because they lack gratitude, but because their brain has been trained to keep wanting. When ambition becomes compulsion, there's nothing wrong with ambition. The desire to improve your life is one of the most powerful forces a human being can have. The problem begins when ambition stops being a choice and starts becoming a compulsion. When achievement becomes the primary way you regulate your emotions, your relationship with work changes. You're no longer pursuing goals simply because they matter to you. You're pursuing them because stopping feels uncomfortable. If you slow down, the mind starts producing questions you'd rather avoid. Am I doing enough? Am I falling behind? What if I waste my potential? Achievement temporarily silences those doubts. But only temporarily. So the mind learns a simple rule: keep moving. The tragedy of this pattern is that it looks admirable from the outside. Society praises productivity. It rewards constant improvement. It applauds people who are always striving. But internally, the experience is very different. Instead of satisfaction, there's pressure. Instead of meaning, there's urgency. Instead of peace, there's the constant feeling that you should be somewhere else, doing something more important. And eventually the question returns. If success is supposed to make life better, why does it feel like something I can never step away from? The ancient warning. Long before neuroscience existed, ancient philosophers observed this exact pattern. They noticed how easily the human mind becomes trapped in endless pursuit. Among them was the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. Despite ruling one of the most powerful empires in history, he constantly reminded himself of a simple truth. External achievements can never stabilize an unstable mind. The Stoics warned that when people tie their sense of worth to outcomes, status, success, recognition, they become psychologically dependent on forces they cannot control. The result is restlessness. Because the external world is always changing. Markets shift, opportunities appear and disappear, reputation rises and falls. Even the most disciplined person cannot control every outcome. If your sense of stability depends on those outcomes, peace becomes impossible. This is why Stoic philosophy placed so much emphasis on internal mastery rather than external achievement. Not because success is bad, but because success alone cannot solve the deeper problem. Without inner stability, achievement simply becomes another variable in a fragile system. And the mind keeps chasing the next victory, hoping that this one will finally bring relief. But relief never arrives. The moment of realization. At some point, many people reach a quiet realization. They notice that the goals they once believed would complete them didn't. They improved their lives, they created opportunities, they proved things to themselves and others. But the inner tension remained. Not as strong as before perhaps, but still there. Still whispering that something is unfinished. For some people, this moment feels discouraging. But it can also be liberating. Because once you see the pattern, you can stop blaming yourself for it. You realize that the endless pursuit of more wasn't simply personal ambition. It was the result of a system, both biological and cultural, that rewards constant striving. Your brain was doing exactly what it evolved to do. But awareness changes everything. When you understand the mechanism, you gain the ability to step outside it. Not by rejecting ambition, but by redefining the role it plays in your life. A healthy relationship with success. So if the brain is wired to chase achievement, and modern culture amplifies that chase, what's the alternative? How do you pursue success without becoming dependent on it? This is where ancient wisdom becomes incredibly relevant again. Because philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca spent centuries studying exactly this problem, they understood something modern society often forgets. The real danger isn't ambition. It's forgetting what ambition is supposed to serve. In the next video, we'll explore what the Stoics believed about success, why they approached achievement completely differently from modern culture, and how their philosophy offers a path toward ambition without anxiety. Because the goal was never to stop striving. The goal was to make sure that success doesn't own you.